Well, my wife and I met Carrie in 1977 whenever we went to pastor Hillcrest Assembly. She was a member there. And met Bernie soon after that. They had this great farm called the Shangri-La. They would invite Sunday school classes and different parties. They were quite the host, and Bernie was the gracious host, a terrific cook. So that was how I met him initially. With Bernie, I always knew that he was Navy man. I always knew he was retired, and he had the colorful language to go along with a Navy man. I always said at one time he was the most, with his words, he was the guy that you would not want to be in conversation with because he could eat you up in a hot minute. And I used to watch him with other young Navy guys around there. He just delighted in eating their lunch. But things began to change with Bernie and Carrie. They really had a great marriage, but Bernie's alcoholism was just eating him up and was certainly taking a toll on their marriage. And Carrie reached the point to where she felt like that she couldn't deal with it anymore. And the way the thing unfolded, she came to me one day and talked about their marriage and said she'd think about leaving. I encouraged her not to do that. Then I got a phone call from someone that I did not know, someone who was a landlord. And he introduced himself and said to me, he said, "Pastor Jennings, I've never done this before, but a lady came to me to rent an apartment, and she qualifies, and there's no reason why I should not rent it to her, but she said that she went to your church, and I just had the feeling I was supposed to call you and tell you this." And so I thanked him, and I immediately called Carrie, and I said, "Carrie, what are you up to here?" And I said, "You tell Bernie to come in." Bernie is a military man, and so he understands rank, and if someone that he respects would say, "I want to see you," then he would do that. So I knew he'd come in, had no doubt he'd come in. Well, he got everything just right. By that I mean he drank just enough to not be over the edge, but just enough so that he had his thoughts about him. And I remember the day they came in, Bernie and Carrie. They sat there, and it was a God moment. We crossed the desk, just visit with him, and I said, "Bernie, would you like to give your heart to Jesus?" And what shocked Carrie, and maybe me just a little bit, was he said, "Yes, I would." And he got down on his knees. In those days, you had to kneel. You couldn't talk to God without kneeling. So I said, "Bernie, kneel down here, buddy." And Carrie's just kind of over there, just kind of wide-eyed, white-faced, watching all this. And Bernie prayed the sinner's prayer. I got down there with him. He prayed the sinner's prayer and gave his heart to Christ. And it was an amazing moment. I mean, there was no doubt that God did something that day. And Bernie, it was a tremendous change. I remember Bernie in his testimony used to say that on that day he lost 3/4 of his vocabulary because he had a colorful tongue and he used it well. And then Carrie used to say that they'd go on walks and he wouldn't talk, and that was so different from Bernie because he talked all the time. He just didn't have any words to use. He had to get a new vocabulary so he could communicate. And it was a journey. It was a tremendous journey, and there was just no doubt Bernie was saved. Not perfect, certainly not everything like it ought to be, but you knew Christ came in. And it was a journey, a slow journey, but it was a magnificent journey. And remember when he was baptized, and I remember when he stopped smoking. I remember all kinds of things. Probably shouldn't put on this tape, but he was an incredible man. And then it was a matter, I don't know how much time, a matter of a few years, when they realized of what God had done for them. Of course, God restored the marriage. Yes, I mean, Carrie had to get used to this new man in her life, but God restored the marriage, and they had an awesome marriage. Bernie loved his sweet pea. That was what he called her, and he treated her like a queen. When he got saved, he made up for lost time. He treated her like a queen. And then they decided that they needed to give back to people. And these were the beginning of the revival days at Hillcrest. And people started getting saved right and left, and primarily because of Bernie. I mean, Bernie had all these Navy friends. He had all these friends that he drank with, and he started bringing them one by one, and people started getting saved. We kind of put together this ministry. Then it's called HAD, but it was differently as Hillcrest Assembly, Alcohol, or something like that, HAAD. But for years, there were just hundreds of people that came to Christ because of these incredible people. and their testimony and the people's lives they touch. And those were the days that sparked revival in Hillcrest that went on for years. And it's the story of Bernie. It's a lot longer than that, but it's a great story. And when you saw Bernie Ahrendt, you knew one thing: God was real, and you knew God could change a man. If God could change Bernie, he could change anybody, and God did that.